Have you ever had one of those moments, a single conversation that you just know could change the entire course of your life? A moment where literally everything comes down to the next few words you say? Well, for one woman, that moment was a job interview she absolutely had to pass. And before we jump in, if you enjoy stories that really get you thinking, please go ahead and follow the channel and share this. It genuinely helps us grow and lets me create more stories just like this for you. Okay, so her story starts with a wall of words she just couldn't seem to break through.
She felt stuck. You know that feeling? The path to a better life, a much better salary, a real future? It was all through this one bilingual job that required fluent Spanish. But standing right between her and that dream was this massive obstacle. A super high-stakes interview, all in a language she'd really only practiced in a classroom. So she walks into her first interview feeling that crazy mix of hope and just pure terror. The questions started coming, and the Spanish she thought she knew, it just vanished. Poof! Her mind went completely and totally blank. The words just would not come. The whole thing was a polite but, oh man, an absolutely crushing failure. And that's when this hard realization just slammed into her. The fluent, conversational, real-world Spanish you need for a job like this, it was nothing like what she'd learned from her books. It felt like a completely different language. All of a sudden, that dream seemed impossible. And that wall in front of her felt 100 feet tall.
But here's the thing. Instead of giving up, she did something really simple. She went out and bought a small, ordinary notebook. And this wasn't an act of defeat. Oh no, this was a declaration of war. That little notebook was about to become her secret weapon.
Her entire approach changed. She started this methodical campaign, researching every single possible interview question she could get her hands on. She filled that notebook, page by page, scripting out answers, refining them, practicing them until they became second nature.
And right there in that process, she figured out something profound. See, it wasn't enough to just want the job. That's the law of attraction, right? We've all heard of it. She had to earn it. That required the law of action. Her dream went from being just a hopeful wish to a disciplined daily routine of focused, relentless work.
This was her training montage moment. Seriously, every spare minute became part of this ritual. She wasn't just studying, she was building an arsenal. Researching the companies inside and out, absorbing new vocabulary, mastering verb tenses, immersing herself in Spanish TV and podcasts, and practicing. Always practicing out loud. Every hour with that notebook was another brick in the foundation of the future she was building for herself. So for 6 long months, this is what she did. And a slow but really powerful transformation started to happen. That fear and uncertainty, it was being chipped away piece by piece, replaced by something totally new. A quiet, solid confidence. A whole new version of herself was now ready to face that challenge again. When she walked into that second interview, the whole vibe was different. She wasn't just crossing her fingers and hoping to get by. She wasn't relying on luck. Nope. She was armed with 6 months of relentless preparation, and she was ready for absolutely anything. And so it began. The final test. The questions started coming, one by one, each one like a potential landmine. The interviewer started with the basics, just kind of probing, testing her ability to just talk. The first question, and the words just flowed. Calmly, professionally, she laid out her experience, her background, no hesitation, just a clear, confident story. Okay, next test. And this was her chance to show she hadn't just prepared generic answers. She'd prepared for them. She wove in the specific, positive details she had researched about the company, showing not just that she was interested, but that she was invested.
And then came the moment, the pivot, the kind of open-ended question that had made her totally freeze the first time around. You know, the question that separates the people just reciting lines from the ones who can actually think on their feet.
She took a breath, and instead of giving some canned response about a hobby or something, she did something incredibly brave. She told the truth. She told them the story of her first attempt and her failure. She told them about the notebook, about the 6 months of grit, and about the journey that brought her right back into this exact room. And in that moment, her story, that story of resilience, of grit, of just refusing to give up, it was more compelling than any perfectly rehearsed answer could ever be. She wasn't just a candidate anymore. She was a person who had overcome a real challenge right there in front of them. A few days later, her phone rang. It was the call, the one she had been working toward for half a year. She got the job.
And the reward was real, a salary that was double what she had been making.
But the real victory, it wasn't just about the paycheck. That notebook hadn't just gotten her a job. It had taught her that she was capable of facing down a challenge that felt impossible and winning.
Because her story, when you really think about it, isn't just about learning Spanish. It's about that universal human experience of staring at a wall that feels way too high to climb and then choosing to start building a ladder one tiny step at a time. It's about rewriting your own narrative through pure, unadulterated dedication.
So the final question really isn't for her, it's for you. What's the wall in your life that feels impossible right now? And what's the first step, just one simple step, you can take today to start breaking through it? If this story moved you or made you think a little differently, share it with someone you know who needs to hear it. And make sure to follow the channel for more stories just like this.